highest city on Earth with no laws. Imagine a place so high in the mountains that's hard to breathe. There are no rules there, and every day is a fight to stay alive. Say, I told you that this place is real and that a lot of people live there. Hello and welcome to Rinconada, the world's tallest city, which is hidden in the Peruvian Andes. There are many strange places in the world, but Rinconada is one of the most dangerous. Rinconada is the world's highest permanent village. It is in the remote Peruvian Andes, almost 17,000 feet above sea level. Imagine living in a town where there isn't much oxygen, not much infrastructure, and almost no rules. Even though it sounds crazy, this is how thousands of people live every day. Still, many people are drawn to this dangerous place by the promise of gold, even if it means risking their health, safety, and well-being. Rinconada's story is both interesting and scary at the same time. There are a lot of stark differences in this place. The Andes are beautiful, but there are also squalor and trash everywhere. Even though the town doesn't have an official government, people who are looking for money keep coming there. Even though it doesn't have any rules, basic facilities, or safety. Life at the top of the world. The geography of extremes. Rinconada is in the southeast of Peru, not far from the border with Bolivia. Some of the tallest mountains in Peru are in the background of the town. It is surrounded by glaciers, and the air here is very thin and crisp, unlike in cities and towns that are lower on the map. At 16,732 feet above sea level, there is 40% less air than at sea level, which makes it hard for people to breathe, both locals and tourists. The high altitude of Rinconada means that it is always cold there. The town's temperatures don't get above freezing very often, and it snows a lot. Even though the weather is bad, about 50,000 people live in Rinconada. Many of them came here looking for a better life, even though it comes with a lot of risks. A huge increase in people caused by gold. The town of Rinconada wasn't always so busy and crazy. A few decades ago, it was a simple town where only a few people lived and worked in the nearby gold mines. But in the early 2000s, the price of gold went through the roof, and the town quickly filled up with people who were trying to get rich. In the last few decades, the population has grown by a huge amount, and gold digging is the main reason for this. Most of the people who come to Rinconada are poor and have few other ways to make money. A lot of them come from other parts of Peru because they heard that miners had found a lot of gold in just one day's work. System, which means that workers go without pay for 30 days and get to keep any gold they find on the 31st day. There is a lot at stake, but not always a payoff. Some miners find gold worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, while others leave without anything. Even though there is a lot of doubt, miners keep coming because they think they might find gold. But the places where they work are not all safe. There isn't much safety gear, and many miners get mercury poisoning because the toxic metal is often used to get the gold out of the ground. Daily life in Rinconada, a town with no laws. One interesting thing about Rinconada is that it doesn't have any official government. Rinconada doesn't have a local government, police force, or official justice system like most towns and cities do. The streets are not patrolled by cops, there are no city council meetings, and there are no courts to settle disagreements. Without any rules, Rinconada is a wild place where people have to take care of themselves in almost every way. The lack of legal power makes the situation dangerous. There is a lot of crime, including theft, violence, and even murder. Since there are no cops to keep things in order, fights between miners and other residents often get violent. There is a lot of corruption in the town, and many of the businesses don't follow any rules. The strong in Rinconada make it through, while the weak are often left to fight for themselves in a harsh environment. A city made of tin and trash. Rinconada is a town made of tin that is rained by trash. Most of the homes in the town are made of corrugated metal, which doesn't keep out the cold very well. There is no drainage, and there is almost no way to get rid of trash. The streets of the town are full of piles of trash, and people's waste often ends up in the open, making it an unhealthy place to live. Another important problem is water. Rinconada doesn't have running water. Instead, people there get their water from glacier meltwater. But this water is often tainted with mercury and other pollutants from the mining process, which means is not safe to drink. In these situations, diseases are easily spread, and there aren't many places to get medical care. For the people who live here, every day is a battle. The thin air causes a lot of breathing problems for many people, and the lack of simple services like clean water and toilets makes it hard to stay healthy. Even though things are hard, the population keeps growing because more people are coming to find gold. Living at very high elevations is bad for your health. It's not only hard to work in the mines, but also dangerous for your health to live at such a high elevation. Chronic hypoxia, a situation in which the body's tissues don't get enough oxygen, is caused by the low levels of oxygen in Rinconada. Children growing up in Rinconada may not grow as tall as they should because they live at such a high elevation. The cold weather is also always a danger, especially for people who live in thin tin houses. Staying warm is hard every day if you don't have good insulation or heating. Many people who live there get frostbite or other illnesses connected to the cold, and it's very hard for them to get medical care. Why isn't La Rinconada a place where people go on vacation? Since La Rinconada is the highest city on Earth, it is at a very high elevation and might appeal to a specific type of daring tourist. However, most people don't want to go to the town because it's unsafe, doesn't have any facilities, and doesn't follow the law. It's not easy to get to La Rinconada. There aren't any direct flights or nice places for tourists to stay. The trip is a long, hard walk through the mountains, where it is often very cold. When people get there, they find a wild, uncontrolled area where they can't be sure of their own safety. Aside from not having clean water, basic hygiene, or reliable medical care, it is also a dangerous place for tourists to visit. Some people might want to visit La Rinconada because of its high elevation or to see how hard life is in such a remote and wall-less town. But most tourists choose not to go there. Few people are willing to take the risk of going to La Rinconada, not even people who like going to wild places. Extremes can be found in La Rinconada, including extreme poverty, extreme risk, and extreme height. A lot of people move to this town because they think it has gold. Even if it means working in freezing temperatures and dangerous situations where crime is always a possibility. La Rinconada, which is the world's highest permanent village, shows how far people will go to find a better life. However, it is also a sobering reminder of how hard it is to live in such a harsh climate. Although most towns have rules and laws, La Rinconada is different because there are no rules there. The only law is survival. If you enjoyed exploring the fascinating story of La Rinconada and want to discover more unique and incredible places around the world, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more amazing content and join us on our next adventure.